Hey everybody, welcome back to Six Spirit Gaming. Just made about 20 minutes into this and realized I wasn't recording, so this will be super fast now. I want to talk about, in this video, I wanted to talk about some of the stuff that shaped me into the man that I am. And trigger warning, nothing in this video is probably going to be believable. As in, I really don't expect a vast majority of the people to do it, but the person intended, this video is intended for whatever reason, I decided to do it for you. Hopefully it helps with something, at least in understanding me better as a person, the kind of shit I've been through, and why I'm so different. So the first thing we have to talk about is um, child abuse, right? So I'm the victim of like pretty much every type of child abuse, pretty much except sexual. So the physical violence, experienced that as a child. Punched in the face, bumped, hit with toys. I've been thrown, like catapulted through the air just to see what happens, and then I've been abandoned, like in a major city or in Frankfurt, Germany specifically, and I had to go like find myself around. Nobody spoke English because I'm on a German. I was living in a German military base. That's who my mom married a guy in the military after she divorced my dad to go to and so we moved to Germany. We lived in Germany for a while. Stepdad can't stand me for whatever reason. They start arguing, and fighting, and he becomes violent towards me. And Mom finds out after, and I think that what happened was uh, when he like straight freaking abandoned me in a giant city. That's when she was like, okay, enough is enough. So she leaves him. We're homeless. We live in that pursuit of happiness life. It's really interesting. And I just remember how cool it was like how cool my mom was. And uh, yeah, so we live in this amazing life. Everything's great and cool. And I have to come back for the summer because that's how it worked. I lived with her during the school year, and then the summertime came, I'd come stay with my dad, which wasn't terrible. He was just trying to win me over and catch up for lost time, but it wasn't like a real relationship. You know what I mean? Like it was just like, I don't know. It was weird. And so the second time that I come back, I come back the first time, and then I go back to Germany. And when I go back to Germany, that's when all the fighting is happening. That's when like shit's going crazy over here. That's when I started getting abused, started getting beat up, and then I handled it well because I thought it was like a rite of passage. I was like, well, if he's doing this to me, I got to be tough. I don't know why I just instantly thought that, but I kind of knew because I grew up doing like karate and stuff and winning competitions, and I don't know. I've just always been a martial artist, fighter person. Anyways, I make it through the year. It's bad. He abandons me in Frankfurt, Germany. I have to go back home. Mom leaves him, abandons me. We stay, a month or two. We stay homeless, staying with different people, living in bars and stuff. I go back to the States. The second day I'm back from the States, my dad pulls me to the side after a night of over at his friend's house, and he tells me my mom's dead. I'm like, okay, great. I'm crying. I'm upset. I don't sleep for a few days. It's terrible. Well, now I live with him. I live with him and the stepmom, and everything's okay for a little while until she gets pregnant and until she has my brother. When she has my brother, now they're a family, and I'm this bastard child from a relationship that is a reflection of everybody involved's failures, apparently. And I'm no longer a part of the family, basically, man. Like to the point where like I don't even have food cooked for me half the time. Like really. So constant like negative abuse and like the self-esteem stuff. You're a total piece of shit. Like you're not worth nothing. Like stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like never anything good to say to me. But of course they would tell everybody else that I was an amazing child and this because everybody else could see how cool I was. So if they didn't go along with that, then it was obvious. And it's kind of like childish abuse shit went on for a long time. And the height of it, this is pretty weird too. I was thinking about it like this, but I had this dog named Knight. He was a black lab, and he just showed up out of nowhere. And he was my best friend for like he was the first time I kind of had any kind of bond with anybody since my mom had died. I couldn't relate to people because the same way that I talk now is the same way that I talked then. The same way I think now is the same way that I thought then. Like the same hyper intellectual, hyper articulate, super speed, like high speed of thought, depth of thought. It happened as soon as my mom died. I remember everything since she died. Basically, third grade, I became an adult, and I've been an adult, for 30 years now. But I had this dog, his name was Knight, and they hated him just because I loved him so much. And like I would do stuff like we had a backyard and a garage in the backyard. I would go outside and sleep with him, like sleep with my dog. I'd rather be outside with my dog, sleeping in the concrete, than be in the house with the people who didn't really care for me. And one day, um, I come home from school and the stepmom just literally tells me, "Hey, I got rid of your dog today. Ha ha ha. Hope you hope you don't mind." And I'm like, "What? Like what? Like this is my best friend." And she laughed at me because I cried. Like she actually laughed at me because I cried. So what happens next is the part that becomes a bit unbelievable. Over the next few depressing, sad days, I remember my me and my brother had a bedroom, and he was on the top bunk, and so now I'm a little bit older now, probably 10, 11, 12, something I don't remember. And he slept on the top bunk because he thought it was cool, and I slept on the bottom bunk. And one night, I'm laying in bed, and this is what's stupid is I haven't fallen asleep yet, and I'm laying in bed like trying to go to sleep, and because what we would do is we'd stay up all night playing video games and like have to like ninja turn stuff off in case the stepmom come to like try to catch us being awake, because she used to do that with me all the time, so I learned really cool things to do to like never be caught. It was weird. Like my whole childhood was like living on the edge. Like I used to play video games on the TV with the TV remote in my mouth, right, with my teeth on the power button, and then I put tape over the power light, and then I would put a movie in and hit play, and then change the setting on the TV. So basically, the tape player, when I did something and you hit play, and she would sneak down the hallway and try to bust in and catch me, playing a game, and I would sit there and so I got the controller under the bed. I've got get the controller, the wired controller under the bottom of the bed, fed up, so she can't see. Controller in my mouth, and I did that so that the TV, because it was one of those older TVs that had the VHS, and it's when she'd come in, I'd hit the power button and turn my head, and it looked like I was dead asleep, and the TV wouldn't do that thing where the VHS tape would make all the sounds, like turning off. So I'm at that stage, right? Like I wasn't playing video games, so I was just laying down, like trying to go to sleep, and the bed starts to shake. And the way that it starts to shake, the only thing I can in my head think about is my younger brother's on top, and he's just like shaking the bed. So I'm like, Tyler, stop! Like, quit, man, quit! And then the shaking of the bed immediately stops, and this really, really, really deep, like dual voice, like that typical, like that crazy depicted in it's depicted in movies, but the depiction in movies is not. It doesn't do it justice, right? This huge voice comes out, and it says, "I'm not your brother." Super deep, super scary, and this gigantic fucking hand comes out from under the bed, reaches over the bed, and grabs me, and one of the fingers digs into my hip, like through my muscle, into my hip, and separates my hip bone. Then the fingers clash together, grabs me, and it rips me off the bed, slams me into the ground hard enough that I feel my skull crush on the floor, like I feel my skull flatten. And then I get pulled underneath the bed into absolute darkness, where I feel every aspect of my body be torn limb from limb until I am literally consciousness floating through like an empty vacuum of space. And not for a little while, I floated for quite a long time with no body, only to wake up in my bed later as a child, unbelievably confused about what I just went through. And this was the start to basically about a 6, 7, 8, 9 year experience that never stopped. When I mean never stopped, I mean quite literally never stopped. Between mom and dad, or stepmom and dad being completely just terrible, fighting all the time, letting the shit roll downhill, so to speak, and putting it on me, being mean, negative, not cooking me food, not giving me food, giving me food I don't like, purposely giving me cold food, like just not doing my laundry, making me do all the household chores for everybody. Just weird, like Cinderella shit, dude. It was so stupid. And then coming home, dealing with this, and then the next, like, so this happened one night, and then the very next night it happened again, but in a different way. And so now I'm like, oh God, what am I gonna do? I'm like, I'm trapped in this endless evil loop of like trauma, terror, pain, negativity, etc. And every night, what would happen is the first time it was weird. The second time it was like like really trauma inducing. And then the third night was where I was scared to go to sleep. And as I'm sitting there in the bed, for some reason this night, Cindy caught me. Stepmom caught me trying to stay up because I didn't want to go to bed. I'm like, fuck yeah, I'm dealing with some crazy stuff right now. Fucking just takes the controllers, like takes any chance I have of being able to entertain myself away completely. And I'm sitting there in the dark and finally fall asleep only to be like literally waking up to like my feet being chewed off and shit. Just it's hard to remember too many of the individual cases because they happened every single night. So like every one that happened was trumped the one that happened before it. The reason I can remember the first two is because they were the single most traumatic. But everything from they started with that just like being attacked, and then they got to the point where my toys were killing me, and I mean like literally like my toys were fucking killing me in the weirdest way possible. My toys, like my closet door would open up, and all the toys would come running out, screaming, holding like fucking tiny knives and shit, and they would jump on the bed and hold me down and fucking tear me to pieces and like crawl inside my stomach and shit. It was crazy. The shit I was going through was absolutely insane, and I had no one to talk about it with, nothing to do. I remember one night I was sitting in bed and I looked out my window and there was a naked dude sitting in the tree. I'm not, it's not a joke. There's a naked guy, solid white, sitting in a tree staring at me. I don't know. I was like, what the fuck? Like, you know what I mean? I wasn't even asleep yet. I just saw it. This like naked person, and probably a demon or something. But this naked weird thing sitting up in a tree, too high to get to, just staring at me through the window. I'm like, what the fuck? That was one time I told my dad, and he actually ran outside with a shotgun trying to find the dude, but we couldn't find him. So I had these tear apart. I call them the tear apart dreams, and then I had those for a couple of years, and then finally one night it shifted. I don't know what made it shift, and I wake up in the middle of the night. I look and standing. So my bed was in a bedroom, and directly to the left, like if you sitting in a bed and look toward the middle of the room, to the left, that's the window. Window is in a trailer, so it puts the it puts the floor to the ceiling. I'm sorry, the floor outside, like the ground outside to the bottom of the window at about 6.5 to 7 feet. And I wake up and I look, and there's this giant face looking at me through the window. And it's the best way I can explain it is it's solid black, big eyes, and it's like the Grinch in a horror movie, but no green. And it just sits there and stares at me until I look at it. And this is the stupid part. In these encounters, the only thing I could do was move I could stay awake as long as I wanted to, but I could look no other direction but towards it. And if I started to look towards it and then tried to stop, my eyes were fixed ever closer, like a ratchet strap or something, you know what I mean? Until finally I had to look at it. Once I looked at it, his eyes would light up, or its eyes would light up, and it would stare at me intensely and deeply, and then the smile would happen. And the reason I say like the Grinch is because when it would look at me and it would smile, its mouth would go its non-existent mouth would increase from where a mouth should be up until the sides of its damn head, opening up and showing these giant razor sharp teeth and these weird hairs coming down that were really thick. And it would just stare at me, and I would feel terror, and I would fucking piss myself and be unbelievably frightened. And we would stare at each other for a very long time, and then I'd wake up. And this happened for years until we moved houses. And then I was like excited because we built a house when we moved into it. And I was like, oh, maybe this will be like, holy shit, maybe I won't have to deal with that shit no more. Oh my goodness. And second day of the house being built, I'm asleep in my brand new bedroom. I'm all excited, I'm like, it's too far away. We won't be able to get me here. I ain't gotta see nothing. I wake up in the middle of the night. I'm staring at the ceiling, And I look over, and that same thing is now standing in my bedroom, but it's so tall that it can't stand up. So it's standing in the middle of the bedroom, 2 feet away from me, like hunched over to the side so that it doesn't hit the ceiling fan. Like purposely missing the ceiling fan and crunched down, hunched in a really, really fucking creepy ass way. And then when I look at it, the motherfucker is staring like now he's not even outside, he's in my bedroom. Same, I mean, God, the same exact feelings, but this time worse. So my whole my whole high school life was filled with basically a Freddy Krueger type experience where I was either, if I wasn't being killed or torn apart or tortured in my sleep, I was um I was just being met with the most unbelievable sense of terror and dread that your body can actually like feel. It was crazy. And then the only credibility to my story is that two of my friends in high school, while we were out one night, we happened to see it. Like my two friends happened to see the creature that I've been seeing in my dreams. Like literally, like verbatim, they saw the thing that I saw as it was following us through the like way out in the middle of nowhere. And that in a way it was really terrifying. We ran for our lives because to see it chase, like to see something like that in the woods, look around for you and then find you, and then jump like hands first, like jump off of a rock and go like 20 feet and land on its hands and then start chasing you. Yeah, that'll make even fat people run fast. So we took off, and I don't know, life continued on for a while, and then I don't know, one day, one, uh, one day I wake up in the middle of the night and he's standing, motherfucker standing there again. But I just looked up at him and I was just like tired. Had been through a lot. It was shortly after my ACL surgery. I got cheap shotted in soccer and tore my ACL and had to go to surgery. And that day, damn, what if it is that day? I get out of surgery and I come back home and I'm walking on, second day, I'm walking on crutches, no pain meds, nothing. I'm just walking on crutches, getting ready because I found a love of soccer, so that was able to let me train hard and push hard, be super like self-destructive in a very positive way, I guess. And my stepmom, like as I'm walking on crutches, 2 days after surgery, sweating from pain, like not crying, but I'm like, like just like the most inspirational shit ever. If you see it in another context. My stepmom comes back and says like, you're never gonna play soccer again, right? And that was like all the motivation I needed. And for some reason, after that, that a couple nights later, I wake up and that same dude's in the bedroom again. And I remember this time I just looked at him and I was like, whatever. And I just rolled back over and went to sleep. Like it didn't scare me. I was totally fine. I was like, man, fuck off, you ain't doing nothing. Like, what are you gonna do? And I was like, I'm going to bed. And I went to sleep and I woke up and I never saw it. I saw it again later in life, but that's for another point. And yeah, so that is the aspect of my life that left me with a lot of questions, and also putting a lot of my time into psychiatric study, reading psychology books and trying to understand what was wrong with me, because I started to think that maybe it was like an inward manifestation of stress and trauma and grief that I was going through. And for a long time I believed that I was stupid because I thought I was smart, but I was like, well, no, because other people would be able to notice that I'm smart if I was really smart, so I must be in a way somewhat delusional. And I was trying to self-diagnose myself. I was trying to diagnose myself with like some kind of medical condition that would be common for things, like, is it schizophrenia? I don't know, like just anything. Like I was trying to find anything, and absolutely nothing that I read covered precisely what I was going through. Because a lot of the times they would be like, oh, well, night terrors also accompany this. And, so people who have, and that was my point, was I never had like waking visions or waking dreams. It always was very, very, very focused around where I was sleeping. Never, like if I went to my friend's house to stay the night over the weekend, I never had any dreams. So on and so forth. And finally it ended. And it ends That's like one aspect of it ending, but not where the drama and the bullshit of life comes from. The next aspect is where the actual physical realities and the evil that people can do starts to become, again, a normal, just like I'd gotten used to the demonic stuff. Then I learned to basically how to deal with the negativity and the evilness and the wickedness from people and accept it as part of life. And it started with basically, in a nutshell, when my mother had died. This is where the kind of the division happened, and I forgot about it for a long time, but I understood something about people when my mom died. So when my mom dies, uh, I have to bury her, right? So we go to the funeral, everything's blah 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 blah. It's raining, and the guys are about to put her in the dirt, and it starts raining in the middle of the funeral. Well, really quickly, everybody who was trying to be so supportive and so like show their respects, they're like in a damn rush to leave because it's raining, right? I'm tore up, but I'm not crying. I'm very very strong through the stuff, and I'm standing there, and casket's going in, and guys are about to start putting the dirt on it, and I'm like, well, like just automatic, like with no thought, automatically, I stay, and I think my dad was like, hey, we're gonna go wait in the car. You just take as long as you need, buddy. So they all leave, and I'm standing there in no umbrella in the rain, looking at my mom being buried in the ground, and then the two grave guys, like the guys who would put the dirt on the ground, they were like, hey man, something something, we're really sorry for your loss, little man. And I was like, ah, it's okay. And I just walked over and I grabbed one of their shovels and started digging. And they're like, "Oh, no, 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 we're okay. We'll get it, little man." I said, "I mean, no, no, no." I was like, "No, I'll get it. She's my mom. Who else is supposed to bury her?" And the way that I said it, I guess it was just really, like I really meant it or whatever. And they both like, "All right, man. We'll hang out until you get done, okay?" So, as a young man who just lost his mom, I watch everybody who said they loved her and all this bullshit, uh, like scurry and scamper through the rain to not get their fucking shoes wet while I stand outside in the rain and bury my mom for about 20 minutes. So this is where I first saw kind of the weakness of people. And I remember that because going forward in life, that would be a really, really pivotal moment for me. We have to fast forward now to going through high school, dealing with more of that stuff. But now the demonic stuff is over, so it's kind of cool because I'm sleeping again. Like, I mean, not really, because the insomnia has already been, like, the insomnia has been set up. Like, I don't sleep much. I sleep 2 hours a night, 3 hours a night at max, unless I'm sick. And I'm done with I'm done with mom and school and shit like that. And then I come to find out that the whole time that my stepmom was being evil to me and terrible to me, she had gotten access to my mom's, like, the account. So when my mom had died, I guess her social security had went every month into an account for me. Well, the woman had got access to it, and she'd been spending my dead mom's money for years. So the $400,000 or $500,000 that I was supposed to be given when I was 18 turned into about 12,000 of her partying and smoking, partying and smoking and taking pills and living the life off of my dead mom's money. And yeah, then we just fast forward a little bit longer to fighting. Fighting was good and awesome and amazing. So I ended up meeting my wife, and everything eventually got better. But when fighting ended, which is a whole nother story in itself, when fighting ended for me, I went back with my dad. And this is me as an adult, as an accomplished man who's been through some shit and done shit, and I've already made it on my own. I don't know. When my wife got pregnant, I defaulted to like a more civilian approach to life, not the not what I was doing when I wanted to be free. And about a year and a half later, he fires me for no reason. Well, he had a reason. He had got me. He had stolen a bunch of money from me and got me in trouble with the IRS and fraudulently put a bunch of debt in my name and did a bunch of stuff. So the way that he decided to do this and get away with it is to basically just fire me and then try to like not talk to me anymore. And then I find out all this crap, and then we end up just leaving the house and we're homeless. Woohoo! what a good what a good life to bring a child and or one child and a newborn into. And there's so much more to talk about on the negative side, but to be betrayed by your family in a way like this, it it opened up so many new doors for me to think and to understand a couple things. One of those being like the nature of people. They can't hide it. Nobody can hide it. And also like just learning to look at the world in the most simple, like the simple, unromantic way possible. Like my dad, he's a dude that had sex with a woman unprotected. He just came in a woman and I was born. I wasn't planned. I was totally an accident. I was his mistake, right? So why would I expect anything from somebody who didn't want me? You know, my brother and sister, they're not really my brother and sister. Why would they care? Because we never had, my stepmom did a great job of sabotaging any potential relationship we would ever have. It's like the whole point of this is that the world is, for people who can see it, the world is a terrible, awful place. And through that, through everything that I just said, I've never not been happy. Ever. And there's two reasons for this. One is because after the demonic stuff, that caused me to think the most in terms of spirituality, which is not really spirituality, but even, trust me, even with in that time, even going to churches was super confusing because I'm seeing the hypocrisy in the church. But generally speaking, the reason I don't have depression, sadness, and any issues within myself is for two reasons. I don't have depression because I have understanding, which means I know what's going on almost at all times. Okay? That's an important mechanic that I feel like most people just can't do. I don't know if it's because an IQ system. I don't know if it's because I was going through life or death situations at too young of an age. I don't know if it's because I faced death since then multiple times, as in almost dying a couple, almost dying a few times. Um, the pain that I've been through in life through either fighting or accident, injury, spiritual, the pain of losing people, of being put down. I don't know. But I do know that the main concept that I kind of developed on my own with no help was to basically, I learned how to live in the present, like really live now, right? And then be like super excited for the future and what it could bring, but also at the same time learning and reflecting on the past. I learned that meditation stuff when I was fighting. And the concept of those, like understanding the past, future, and present, and how they work with you at all times, is really important because without a hope for the future, your past becomes your hope. You know what I'm saying? So, like, if you're thinking about the glory days of high school, uh, your your hope is in the past. It's not going to work. So your hope still needs to be in the future. And then what we live in the present now, that's where we're at. And we have to use the past to reflect to both on our mistakes and things that we did right, so that we can have a better future outcome. And then and of course, as I became a Christian and started reading the Bible for the first time, instantly started finding verses that explain everything that I've ever went through in my life perfectly. All good things come to those who wait. And not the exact quote, but the the world hated. It's funny to me, but like the world hated Christ himself. Like really, like the world hated him to the point of crucifixion. So how much more is it going to hate people who actually do worship him, love him, study him, follow him, who naturally align with him and don't have to try? I mean, we obviously, sin is still sin and the temptation is still there, but like it's not as big of a deal for me to not, like, I don't know, not hit my wife, not stab my you know what I mean? Like it's very easy for me to follow the path of God and sometimes get distracted with other stupid things and become emotional for a moment and say stuff I don't mean, which is very rare, or have an attitude over something that I shouldn't have an attitude over. But that's a big part of my past with the demonic stuff is a really, really, really big reason as to why I believe in God so strongly now. Is because I've lived with the one aspect of the spiritual side for so long that it becomes real to me. As in, like, you can't tell me I didn't go through that for as long as I did. And now we're at this stage where, after studying too much, God, too much, I've studied, which I guess is not really a thing, but I've studied so much that I know something about damn near everything. And I know how how the pieces all fit together and how life works, and I can see it just clear as day, and nobody else seems to be able to. So it leaves me in a really, really depressive, a really depressive state most of the time. That's the reason I was so excited when I actually started making my YouTube videos, is because I don't care if people watch my videos. I already explained why I do that. But generally speaking, it's like just amazing to be able to sit and put my thoughts into something that other people can listen to, but mainly just to get it out of my damn head. It's so nice to be able to take a chunk of time, dedicate to one thing, move past it, and never have to leave it up here in the brain just endlessly circulating. You know what I'm saying? Put it out there, let people listen to it, and maybe it helps somebody. But y'all have a wonderful night. I have a lot more super deep, terrible, depressing things that have happened. But that would be the first and biggest one. I just wanted to go ahead and get that out of the way. Sketch, I hope you have a wonderful night, my boy. Thank you so much for the comment, our chat on Steam. And you guys have a wonderful night, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Thank you very much.
I hear unattended children in the background.
They're getting ready for bed. I have 7, so there's always...
My God, bro! Fucking when are you gonna stop?
Hopefully this is the last one.
Wait, you got another one on the way?
No, my youngest is 4 months, so...
Oh, okay, alright. Fuck, man. Someone's gotta get something tied.
Yeah, I hate to hear that about your job.
Oh, it's all good, bro. I'm already over it. Appreciate it, though.
It always sucks.
I think what I was getting at was like, everyone has hardships, you know? Don't let it bring you down. Oh, that's life, bro. Fuck. I get it, man. I do. You got 7 fucking kids, man. You got nothing but struggles.
That's what's crazy. My family is like always been the easy part. Children.
Ready to liberate.
Oh, that's good.
I was on my way to the UFC. I had UFC contacts. I already been scouted.
Calling down a support weapon.
Damn, nice, bro.
Met my wife in the gym. Fell in love. Shitty family.
You still work out a lot? That's the one thing I need to motivate myself to do, bro. What's your key motivator for like working out and shit?
I would say I've always been fit. I've always been super fit and active. And then about 45 years ago, I slipped a disc in my back at work. And then I got hit by a pallet.
You said 45?
No, 4 or 5.
Oh, 4 or 5. I was like, holy fuck, you don't sound that old.
Yeah, I slipped a disc in my back, and then trying to rehab it after the second injury. They laid me off work, but didn't. They laid me off, but they didn't pay workers' comp. I got. So I just had to quit. That's what that. And this is the time. This is the time when my wife picked up video editing.
Okay.
And then I was trying to run and play some soccer. Show these guys how fast I was, because I was a track athlete too. And I tore my Achilles.
Ooh.
Just running.
Yeah, that's not good.
About a month later, I got hit by a car on a bicycle. And then, so that had my back hurt. My Achilles got torn again. Dislocated my shoulder, concussed. Like all kinds of stuff was wrong. And it took me like a year to get over that, like to get to where I could sleep and walk. And then I got depressed because I couldn't run and I couldn't train like I used to. So I got fat. And then I lost about 40 pounds. Started training again. Got my physique back.
Nice, bro. Now see, like, I'm obviously fat, but I'm like chubby. Like, I'm not at the point where it's like, you know, you're gonna be floppy when you get the weight gone. But like, it needs to happen sooner than later. I just don't have the motivation for it. Fucking right, man. That's awesome.
I have visual on the extraction zone.
Fitness is.
I love hearing that shit, man. That's good too with all your kids too. It's good to show them that like that's a big part of your life. That's something a lot of kids nowadays they fucking lack on. Like I got lack.
My wife is black and my children are mixed.
I was gonna say I almost thought that you were black because I almost kind of heard that, like a little bit of that affliction.
Hey, thank you.
Like not trying to be rude, obviously, but
Yeah.
that's awesome, bro. Good for you. See, I'm more or less into the Asian bitches. That's what I like.
So, yeah.
Yes, sir. I got the yellow fever.
I realized, man, that jungle fever hit me at a young age. I feel like you're a man of many women, so maybe you can appreciate this. But
At least like 10 or 12 or something.
I took the wrong brook out one time. So like I was talking to a bunch of people and I took the wrong brook out. It turned out to be a great night. But I was like, okay, I need to go on some kind of I need to learn more about dating. So I started what I call my dating crusades. And I had a little planner and I set up dates one after another. Chicks I hang out with in the morning, lunchtime, nighttime, strip clubs, after parties. And I made it my life for about 3 weeks while I was training and fighting. And after date number 40 of keeping notes like blonde, what they ordered, what they wore. Just taking.
Oh my god.
Taking like.
You got fucking. That's some Dahmer shit right there, bro.
Taking some detailed notes, and what I come to the conclusion is that women ain't shit, and they're not worth my time. So I quit dating completely because I realized that, you know, like at this point, sex had been too easy. Like it's too easy to get in bed with girls. They couldn't keep up. Disappointed, you know, like tap them out. So I'm like, no, I can't do this anymore. So I quit dating completely, and then I meet my wife about, I don't know, 3 months later.
That's how it happens, right? Like fucking, you know, good things just come upon you sometimes like that, bro. Oh, the biggest thing too is these mega churches that used to be like on TV back in the 90s and shit.
Yeah.
Or even still nowadays, I think there's still lots, to be honest. Like breaking in like hundreds of millions of dollars a year tax free because they can get rich, they can like bypass that with religion or whatever.
Yeah.
It's just super fucked up.
Yeah, stuff like that. After my coach, after he did that and I blacked his eye, he literally sent people to fight me.
Oh my god, what the, this is some Karate Kid bullshit going on here. What the fuck?
I was getting jumped pretty consistently, and you know, like I had to go to class.
Bro, you should write that down, bro. That's like a movie, man. What the fuck?
My coach trained me to be very bloodthirsty.
Yeah.
Fuck people up, you know? And I was
Fucking right, man.
I was all for it until I broke one of my friend's arms.
Oh, that sucks.
By like just trying too hard, you know, not knowing how strong I could be. I've always been way stronger than I look, but as a, you know, trained MMA fighter, it's a bit different.
Yeah, you know the exact spots to press, right? You know what I mean? Not press, obviously, but you know what I mean.
So I did a super advanced Russian Samba, take their back, flip, roll, catch armbar, and it snapped his bicep. And
God damn.
I was sad, I was upset, I almost gave up, and he told me not to, because that's why I stayed in it.
But you armbarred and broke his arm? An armbar?
Yeah.
Damn, that's rough.
I felt
So
nervous.
wait, did you break it or dislocate? That's
I
more
broke
of a
his-
dislocate. Oh, damn. You actually
between
broke it.
between the elbow and the shoulder. It broke his
Oh.
bicep. It sounded like a gunshot, and when he stood up, his arm was about 6 inches longer than it should have been.
No.
It was bad.
It snapped? That's not even a break, that's like a snap.
Yeah, clean break straight through. It was loud enough that you could hear it in the gym with all the music and everything. Like it happened, it sounded like a gunshot, and everybody got quiet and looked. And yeah, it was loud, man. And after that, I almost gave up. Decided if I was gonna train, then I was gonna have to go back to like never hurt. My name is William, by the way.
William, nice to meet you. I'm Tate.
Tate, what's up?
Not like that Andrew guy. That's my actual first name, Tate.
Got it. Mr.
Give me a hug, man.
Mr. Squirtle is me and my wife's gamer tags. She's